If you've ever seen videos of van life online and thought that would be awesome to travel in, or if you have a van or RV and you're curious about if your rig could make you some real money when you're not using it, my name is Deanna and I'd like to show you the right way to rent out your van or RV without all of the costly mistakes so that you can make thousands of dollars a month even if you don't own a rig. And stick around to find out how you can get more rental bookings at a higher nightly rate. But first, hit that subscribe button, and if this is something that you're interested in, give this video a thumbs up. So back in 2019, James and I bought a vintage camper and we spent a few weeks fixing it up. And when it was done, we loved the freedom to just be able to up and travel whenever we wanted, all while having the comforts of home with us. That then led us to van life, and we ended up converting multiple vans and traveling all over the country. But when we weren't traveling, there was a lot of time it was just sitting in the driveway collecting dust. So we thought about renting it out in between our trips. But we were hesitant at first to let someone else take it out and use it. So what we did was we tried it with our friends first so we could see how the rental process went, and then we ended up renting it again and again and again. This wasn't just a spike during COVID, because now, years later, we're consistently getting tons of rentals year round, and we're making between $3,000 to $7,000 a month. And that's just with one rig. And it can be a pretty passive business if you have the right systems in place. And at one point we were thinking about getting an Airbnb, but we were actually charging the same nightly rate that a lot of the Airbnbs were charging with the van, and it is so much cheaper to buy a van than a house. And the crazy thing is you don't even need to own a rig in order to have a rental business. You can actually do something that's called consignment. And consignment is when you take someone else's van or RV and you run the rental business and then split the profits with the owner. Now, this is a great market to get into because this industry has actually tripled its revenue in the last few years, and it's not slowing down. We've now rented out multiple vans, and after all of these years of renting, we realized that just listing your van for rent wasn't enough. There are three main stages of a rental business if you really want to have a thriving business and make the most money that you can make. So whether you are brand spanking new and just curious about this industry, or if you've been renting for a while, you'll most likely fall into one of these three stages. Inside our accelerator course, Van Life Host Academy, we call these three stages the red light, yellow light, and green light stage. So the red light stage is where you're not running your business yet, but you might be getting your van if you don't have one and optimizing it. And if you don't have a van yet, we actually have another video on acquiring the best rental rig. So once you have a van or RV, you then want to optimize it, which means you want to get it rental ready for someone who's never used it before to have the most seamless and enjoyable experience possible. Just like when you go over someone's house for the first time and you're not exactly sure where everything's at, you might try 4 different drawers before you can even find the silverware drawer. Well, in the same way, your van has different systems and hookups and storage areas, and you don't want your renter to spend their entire trip frustrated trying to figure everything out. But when they know where everything is and how everything works, they're able to just enjoy your rig and just focus on having fun on their adventure. So you not only want to make it super user-friendly with instructions and labels, you also want to think about how you can go above and beyond with essential supplies, with having an atmosphere that's clean and comfortable, and also maybe add-ons that can create memorable experiences while they're on their trip. Then the yellow light stage of your business is when you have your rig optimized and you want to share it with the world that it's available for rent. So that's what we'll do with your rental listing. Think of your listing as a billboard for your rental. You might have a great optimized rental, but if no one sees it, then you're not going to get any bookings. So we need to make sure you have a great listing that will connect potential renters with your awesome optimized rig. And then the green light stage is where you have rental bookings coming in and you have a system for running the business. There's a lot of repetitive tasks like communicating with the renters, organizing pickup and drop off, giving a walkthrough of how everything works when they arrive, and then restocking and cleaning the rig in between rentals. So instead of giving yourself a full-time job trying to manage all of those things, taking all of the time-consuming, repetitive tasks and creating a system for them will actually allow you to enjoy the extra time and money you'll have. Having a system also keeps you from making any mistakes or forgetting any important information. It also gives you a quicker turnover process so you can get more bookings, and it's a better experience for your renters, which leads to better reviews and in turn leads to more bookings and a higher nightly rate. So those are the 3 stages. But the key for those 3 stages to happen is in the middle phase, which is your listing. Because if you have an amazing optimized rig, but no one knows about it, then you won't have a business to run in the green light phase. So just like you might see a billboard on the side of the road, it doesn't mean you're running right away to go buy that product. In the same way, just because you list your rig for rent, it doesn't mean that anyone will see it, or if they do see it, it doesn't mean that they're going to just jump and book it right away. So over all of these years of renting, we've actually developed a method that takes your potential renter from just scrolling through, casually browsing, to seeing your listing and confidently booking it. Then you'll be able to start making that money that will have your van pay for itself, your adventures, and more. We call this the browsing to booking method inside Van Life Host Academy, but let me break down the basics because it seems to be one of the biggest takeaways from our students where before they joined Van Life Host Academy, they had their van listed for rent for a while and they barely got any bookings. They just thought the market wasn't busy enough or busy enough in their area. But when they used our rental listing strategies, they started to get multiple bookings a month and have completely paid off their vans from it. The browsing to booking method is a bonus training that I created for my students inside Van Life Host Academy, but I'm going to link it for you below because once you see how easy it is to get started with these strategies that not only bring in more renters willing to pay a higher nightly rate, but also have the systems that run your business pretty passively, you'll be able to have a business that makes you thousands of dollars a month paying for your rig, your adventures, and more. So click the link below.